Hello world. This video response is for Jessica Patricia on her topic of what is a fine man or a fine woman. Again, these are just my personal thoughts and personal views. So let me get started here. I think she mentioned in her video about how do you really define fine, the F-I-N-E, fine, and whether it's just the face or does the body has something to do with fine, and how that, I guess, correlates to sexiness or attractiveness or something along those lines. So I guess let me say that in my opinion, fine has so many definitions and so many connotations and meaning, and I guess it varies whether or not one is just looking at the facial features or the body or the whole package. And the definitions that at least I have for fine could mean that, she is fine, as in, she's a nice person, she's fine. Or could be, man, she is so fine. And I guess taken with the social context of how I've always understood that phrase to mean in the social context of being around friends or being around other people, that pretty much means, in my opinion, that she. So I'm a guy, so I'm gonna be talking about the fine for in retrospect and reflecting the opposite sex. So fine in that sense towards the opposite sex, in this case the female, would be she is totally she's screwable, doable. Uh, that's pretty much the general, I guess, consensus of, man, she's fine. So I guess that's kind of saying, yeah, I would do her in a heartbeat. Now that's not to say personally, that I'm going to be demeaning and degrading women to just the flesh of meat of everyone I see. It's so, but at the same time, men and women, we all have those natural instinct and urges. So that's just inherent in everyone. And then let's see here. Some of the pictures that you've shown, I've only recognized a few, so let me point out the ones that I guess was up there and probably insert maybe one or two of my own. I think one of the pictures had Pamela Lee Anderson up there. She, at least in my opinion, would not be the image or the definition of what I would consider to be fine. Uh, she, I guess, in my opinion, and I guess the consensus of guys, just in general, would mainly more be the sex symbol, the lusting after, the category of this is the category of women that's just doable and humpable and screwable. You don't really want to have anything else to do with except to satisfy that primal rage and primal need, and that would be the go-to girl, the any, I guess, uh, if I'm even putting that into the right category, or even if I should be categorizing this. So, but as far as whether or not the body matters in saying whether or not a girl or a guy is fine, I think that the body really does matter. It goes back to self-image, self-appeal, our own self-esteem, how we want to be seen by others. And in our culture and society, to be more thin and is the ideal. Now, I don't believe in being like a toothpick for some of these so-called models that I've seen, where they're all skin and bones. Now, that's not attractive or fun in my opinion at all. That's being malnourished and not getting enough nutrition. That's definitely a self-image problem for the girl or the guy. No one should be skin and bones, at least in my opinion. So, but let's see here. The face, the face, we're in a society, and yes, I'm gonna go back and forth and blame society for everything because that's what we're a part of. We're a part of a group, a society, a concentrated blob out there. Of norms, what everybody does to not stick out like a sore thumb for fear of being hammered down and everything else along those lines. So it really pretty much contradicts individuality, independence, freedom, everything that this nation and culture is supposed to stand for.